We are the future, Charles, not them. They no longer matter.
What's up with the YouTubians? Let's talk about Marvel, one of my favorite subjects. And the rumors that I'm hearing about the casting for the future X-Men. You know, past, present, future. They kind of all running together. Listen, listen, from what I'm hearing is that Marvel wants to use the OG X-Men for Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars, and maybe mix in a few of the cast from the future. Even though they're keeping some of the OG X-Men, like Wolverine is going to be on both sides. You know what I'm talking about? Hopefully they bring in X-23 still, because I would like that also, you know what I'm saying, in some form of fashion. I don't think they will. But anyway, you know what I'm saying, it's going to be a slight reboot after Secret Wars. And one of the rumors that I'm hearing is just, it's not sitting well with me. Listen, first of all, I'm a person that's against gender swapping and race swapping. Like, I'm just not, if y'all paid attention to some of my stuff, y'all know I'm not into that. But this idea of using Coleman Domingo as Professor X, I hate it. I hate it. Don't do it. Don't do it, Marvel. Don't do that. Don't do that. I just can't see Coleman Domingo as Professor X. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. You know what I'm talking about? Listen, I'm against gender swapping and race swapping for these reasons. Just me personally, I understand that in the past, old comic book writers and people who did movies and shows, they did not have a realistic portrayal of what American society really looks like. And for back then and even today, I get that. But I also believe in someone's creative property. If they visualize something in a way, or they saw it in a way, then it probably should be put on the screen in that manner. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not a boomer, but I got some boomer in me. I don't like a lot of fast changes. Don't just bring change on me like that. If I grew up seeing Batman or somebody looking like, you know, Bruce Wayne looking this way, like I expect Bruce Wayne to be that way. I don't just throw change at me just for change's sake. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you're gonna gender swap or race swap somebody and then they just act like a white black man.
You a white black man?
Wait, what?
Are you a white black man?
Wait,
A white black man?
No, I'm a black man.
No, you're the first white black man.
What do you mean the first one?
You're a white black man.
No, I'm a black man.
No, I know a nigga when I see a nigga.
Oh, man.
Oh, you might be black. Okay, he black. My bad.
Or you know what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? Hopefully you do. I know a lot of people don't be getting that. But I don't like Coleman Domingo as Professor X at all. And I don't get the let's take you back so I can get to the rumored reason why they would do this. A year ago, or a year or two ago, they were saying that they were having trouble with, they wanted to be different from the old X-Men, the last two, or the last iteration of X-Men. You know, they did Future Past and they had the present day setting or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So they had two versions of Professor X and two versions of Magneto, a younger version and an older version. But they want to be different from the Fox universe. So they was like, how can we do that? And we're in a new day and age, and we're mixing the universe with all the current Avengers and Marvel characters, etc. How can we do that? And then when it comes to Magneto, he's supposed to be a Holocaust survivor. That's very integral to who his character is and the reason as to why he does what he does. But the Holocaust was over, you know what I'm saying, 90 years ago at this point in time. That man would be 100 and some years old now. How can we have a prime Magneto or a Magneto that we know and understand if that's so far in the past? So they thought about, you know, maybe we can switch it up and use civil rights characters. You know what I'm saying? We can make him a civil rights veteran. And they came up with the idea of maybe Denzel. Now, Denzel is a big enough actor that I don't think too many people be mad if you race swap and threw Denzel in a lot of roles. He's a big enough character that a lot of people wouldn't trip. And even with the civil rights, you can kind of understand them using the civil rights, you know what I'm saying, and oppression and this and that. You can kind of get that. Even though I don't think a lot of people will be in favor of that either. But that's what their thinking was. Then they was like, you know, maybe we'll use Will Smith or something like that. But no, we don't want a Professor X Will. We don't want that. But if you race swap Magneto, you don't have to race swap Professor X. I'm not saying you got to race swap any of them. But if they did use Denzel, I wouldn't trip. But when it comes to Coleman Domingo and him being Professor, I don't get what's his name? Giancarlo Stanton, whatever his name is, Giancarlo Esposito. Like, I could have seen, if they were forced to race swap Professor X, I could have seen him being Professor X. Not Coleman Domingo. Had his mouth open that whole time in that movie, The Madness. He's not a bad actor. I can't see that. I can't see that. And anyway, just to do it just for the sake of change, because the rumor is that they want to just be different from the Fox Universe X-Men. They want a Professor X that will be separate and just make it unique. But that's not the uniqueness that we need or most of us want. I'm sure there will be some black people that'd be, just happy to see a black version of somebody. You know what I'm saying? I'm not one of those people. Give me new black characters. Give me new black characters. I always say that, or use the ones established, because they're set to the side, like Monica Rambeau, Blade, Luke Cage. Hell, you can bring in Blue. Just give us one of those, Brother Voodoo. Give us one of those. You don't have to race swap certain people. You know what I'm saying? Now, I've came around as far as the Magneto thing. I told you I accepted that. If they were going to do that, and somebody like Denzel was the guy, like, I wouldn't be too mad. But honestly, you don't have to race swap Magneto at all. If you're not going to use a Jewish Holocaust survivor, you can just use a random Jewish guy, period. Like, the Jews have been through different things over the past 90 years since the Holocaust. They've been through other things. They've been through other wars and certain events. Like, you don't have to just use somebody from the Holocaust. You know what I'm saying? Or you could use a plethora of different people. But Magneto and Professor X, let them white folk. Let them white folk be white folk. And just give us our prominent black folk that should be prominent black folk, or create new ones in that content space. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to that, like I said, I don't like that at all. And then I came across a rumor that said they was looking at Cynthia Erivo, the lady who played in Wicked, who's also a good actor to play Storm. I don't like that either. I don't like that either. Listen, I want them to use a mature version of Storm, but not as mature as her. If you know what I'm saying? Like, I think she would be fine if they use an older version of Storm. But if they're gonna go with a younger version, like I'm hearing they're going with a younger X-Men team, not necessarily teenagers, but younger. Like, I don't like her for Storm at all. Like, I feel like there's other women that would be great as Storm. I wouldn't exactly be mad if Cynthia Erivo turned out to be Storm, but she wouldn't be my first pick. She wouldn't be my first pick. Janelle Monáe would not be my pick at all. She's too little. Too little. I'm not really a Janelle Monáe fan anyway. She's too little. She's too little. There's a couple of women that I would like to see as Storm. I can't think of the name right now, but there's a couple of women that I would like to see as Storm. But she would not be it. You know what I'm saying? I feel like with this upcoming X-Men movie, there's going to be some interesting decisions that they have to make. You know what I'm saying? Because if they're going to be using a cast or a slate that looks sort of like the X-Men 97 cast, then what are you going to do with Bishop? Or are you going to bring Bishop along for the ride in the beginning, or will Bishop come later? Because that's a storyline that they really could use for the X-Men, but I don't think they should rush into using that storyline where Bishop comes back. I'm excited to see that Gambit will be in it if that's the case. Channing Tatum, you got you a job. We haven't really seen Channing Tatum in a lot of stuff lately, up until he was in Deadpool versus Wolverine. But yeah, you got you a job. But just me personally, I feel like this from the jump, that if they were gonna race swap anyone in the X-Men, that Gambit or Cyclops would be prime choices for that. If they had no choice, if they were gonna do that those would be two guys that I would feel that way. And mostly because we had never seen Gambit on screen at all, not necessarily, and because they've had a hard time of making Cyclops be cool. Even though I think in the comics Cyclops is a cool character, but they've had a hard time of portraying him, you know what I'm saying, or building him up in a way on screen. So I wouldn't have had a problem with it. But I'm hearing that they're looking at Arnold Schwarzenegger's son to be, the new Cyclops. And supposedly, people got photo footage, video footage of him on set of them doing Avengers Doomsday or whatever, for whatever reason. I don't know what character Arnold Schwarzenegger's son is playing, but they say he's there. Could he be the new Cyclops, or could he just be playing the other version of Cyclops because I think the original Cyclops doesn't want to come back? I'm not sure. I'm hearing all types of stuff. But anyway, those are some things that I heard that just kind of shimmered me timbers. You know what I'm talking about? They shimmered me timbers. Y'all keep it locked right here to your boy. I appreciate you for commenting, and subscribing.